gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for March 8th, 2023. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Starfield gets bumped out of the first half of the year, but first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Lucy James, everybody. Lucy, how are you doing?
I only woke up like half an hour ago, so this is news to me about Starfield. But you know what? We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I was actually I'm doing good. I was putting the rundown together, and I'm like, all right, I'm all done. And then I'm like, oh, I should do one more check of the news, and it's like, oh, that happened,
Starfield.
and a couple other things, yeah. And it's like,
wait, did you do like a Marvel? Welp, that happened.
Yes, and I looked at not this camera, but I have another camera over there. And I looked at that one. Well, that just happened.
And then there was like some kind of bass line.
Yep, a little riff there. My own personal guitar riff that no one actually remembers. Like that's not very distinct, but I do have one. I'm doing good. I had a good morning. I was saying beforehand. It's I don't know, just in a good mood, and that's I feel like it's worth pointing that out. Like, okay, I gotta try to replicate what happened today. I got up. I think I had my coffee. You know what?
Wait,
you know what? Yeah.
you rehearse? You doing a fucking Nathan Fielder, like a rehearsal?
Yeah, right. I want to let's see if I can make this happen again and make this a permanent thing. Being in a good mood, but. Oh, I don't know. Who knows? Listen, if tomorrow happens and it's a bad mood, oh well, we'll just roll the dice again the next day and see how it goes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, yes, we got plenty to get into. Before we do, though, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you were watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Okay, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Starfield release delayed until September. Direct scheduled for June. This comes from Jordan Midler at VGC. Starfield has been delayed. It is now coming September 6th, 2023. In an announcement video, Bethesda confirmed that the game, which was originally planned to release in the first half of the year, will now launch in September. A Starfield Direct will now take place on June 11th. Microsoft also confirmed that the Xbox Game Showcase will also take place on Sunday, June 11th, just prior to the Starfield show. Hey everyone, from myself and everybody here at Bethesda, and this is Todd now, we are so excited to finally tell you when Starfield is coming out this year. We have poured ourselves into this game, and even I'm surprised how much we could pour. It is large. This is from the video that came out. Basically, they called it the announcement, or the date announcement video, and they had someone playing the game in the background while Todd was like talking to the camera. But basically they didn't show much of the game, just a few more teases, and we're going to get a lot more on June 11th. This is not surprising at all, right?
No, I did not think for a second it was coming out in June, if I'm honest. Like, yeah, it didn't seem ready. Like they were having those kind of developer chats last year that they were releasing, but even then we haven't really had a concrete extended look at the game, and I say that only in the way that Bethesda and Microsoft have been so good at doing recently, which is like give those big like 20-minute, 25-minute chunks of gameplay. They did that with Fallout 4, 76. They do it with Arcane stuff, and because we haven't had one, and June is coming up way faster than anyone. It's creeping up on us. I was like, yeah, I don't think this is coming out in June.
Yeah, I just thought, like, man, if they were going to delay it, they should have delayed it at that developer direct that they had previously. So, there's a chance it could still come out in June. But now that they've announced the date, it's like, why did I ever think that? Of course they were gonna push it.
Holy Umbrella has just made the very astute observation that it's now gone from 11/11 to 6/9.
Hell yeah,
so,
nice. Yeah, very good. They said also in June, we're going to bring you into the studio and give you a deep dive into the game at our Starfield Direct. There's so much that we still have to show you. I'm still like waiting, ready to see this game really sort of blow the doors off and show us everything that it has. Right now, it looks like Skyrim in space. People have pointed that out. And they said, yeah, that's the game we're making, but also there's so much more to it. And we haven't seen those parts yet. But I don't know. I'm still very excited about this game. It still feels like it could be one of the biggest ones of the year. It's just they don't want another Fallout 76, right?
No, absolutely not. But also, now it means that Baldur's Gate is coming out at the end of August, and then Starfield's coming out at the beginning of September. So that's,
Yep.
I mean, the RPG lovers are going to be feasting, but also that's going to be a lot going on in a very short amount of time, which is exciting. I like being busy, but they don't want another 76. That was kind of I didn't have a good launch, but I mean, still, people obviously still play it. It still makes a bunch of money, but
it turned around. But it's like, having a good game at launch, they would have preferred that, obviously.
Yeah, and optics, etc.
It's like at that time, I think we probably do mostly forget what it was like. But at the time when Fallout 76 launched, it was just one terrible headline after another. It's like, this is broken. No one's happy with anything in the game. All the bags they sent are pieces of garbage that fall apart. They disintegrate in people's hands, things like that. So, I mean, clearly they don't want that. And one way you can avoid that is giving the game as much polish as possible. This is about, I mean, we keep saying June. They never officially said the game was coming in June. They just said it was at that E3 showcase where they said every game will be playable in the next 12 months. So that gave them until June to stay true to that. So technically this is a delay, but it's like this is the first time they've given it a date since the 11/11 date that they had, whatever it was. Yeah. But it's still, if you just say, from June to this is about 2 months. 2 months and a few days. I suppose if you thought they could have released it in early June, maybe it's a full 3 month delay. It's just still, man, it's a big game. Is that going to be enough time to really get enough done? And probably not. They're probably just going to focus on a couple things that they think they can make better between now and then.
Yeah, I mean, it always depends. Like, I'm not sure where they're at in terms of polish and kind of bug fixing at this point. Maybe that's all they need. Maybe they need a little longer, but I'm honestly just stoked to have some kind of release date again.
Right.
I don't think it would slip from this one. But yeah, I don't know. I like to have faith. I like to be optimistic,
Yeah, same here. I think them giving it a new date is planting their flag in the ground a little bit.
Yeah.
They've done that before, but I don't think they would give it another date if they weren't going to stick to this one. Because
exactly.
Why at a certain point, so everyone's like, oh yeah, well, we'll get this game when we get it. Everyone's in that zone with this game. So when you're there, you don't sort of just like, okay, now let's force ourselves to have to try to meet some deadline again, when they could have just picked any date in the future and everyone would have been like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess they just need that much more time. So that's not to say it's going to be some flawless experience at launch. I still expect it to be Bethesda buggy, but I like Bethesda buggy. So
I also like Bethesda buggy.
Yeah.
There's something comforting about Bethesda buggy.
Yeah, it's comforting. It implies a certain amount of possibility that other games always shy away from, and I appreciate that more than a lot of the other more constrained experiences we get. Obviously, the other side of this is, hey, we know when the Microsoft show is happening, June 11th.
Yep.
They'll have an Xbox showcase. That also sounds not surprising at all, right?
Yeah, because they always would go on Sunday. So as we wait to find out, I think E3 is obviously the big question mark right now because we don't know still who's all gonna be there, or what it's really gonna look like. But it is, and also Jeff's thing, as I think it has dates from last year, or at least they definitely said it was going to be Summer Game Fest, so that we can anticipate a couple days of that. But then people like Ubisoft saying that they're going to be there, Microsoft putting a kind of stake in the ground and saying, hey, we're taking our day back, get ready. It's exciting, it's nice.
Do you think Starfield is about ancient aliens?
I never thought about that.
It's just every video game in space is about ancient aliens. I saw Lexi in chat say it seems like it's also about ancient. I mean, people are in the game, characters are stumbling across ancient technology. It kind of seems like unavoidable to a certain point, but I don't know.
I would be down for that. The Mass Effect game that I have always wanted has been the First Contact War. So I always love the, like, hey, the new race goes and meets the old aliens, and then they form the Citadel Space Council and whatever. That's what I want. So.
Is it someone? Let's see. Abs BH. Imagine Starfield is about Scientology. That'd be cool if we just find out something like the big bad is just a Xenu.
God.
Oh man.
Thetans.
Well, listen, mods are a powerful thing, and I'm like now I'm hoping to get that. That would be beautiful.
Yeah. What's the Scientology thing where they like assess you and they make you do that questionnaire over and over again?
Right. Is it called processing? What is it
what's
called?
What's it called?
Being
that's gonna annoy me.
Yeah, it's someone in chat's gonna have us here right now in a second, but yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, going clear. E-reading.
Going clear. No. Oh God, I need to Google it.
Yeah, docking. Yeah, it's called docking. Audit. Is it
auditing?
Audit?
Yeah, it is auditing.
Thank you, Siegfried.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that was gonna bother me too.
I went through a big Scientology phase, not like as a member, but as someone fascinated with how that whole cult
same here.
works.
Yeah, I did that. I did flat earthers, and then when they all turned into QAnon, I'm like, oh, all right, I'm good. I'm good.
It's like the natural evolution of them all, isn't it?
You guys are actually just bumming me out now. I'm good. All right. Sony believes PlayStation VR 2 has a good chance of outselling the original. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. Sony has said it believes PlayStation VR 2 has a good chance of outselling its predecessor. The original PlayStation VR launched for PS4 in October 2016 and has sold 5 million units by the end of 2019, according to Sony. Its follow-up, which requires users to own a PS5 console, launched last month, priced at $550. During a fireside chat at the Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference on Monday, Sony Executive Deputy President and Chief Financial Officer Hiroki Totoki was asked to evaluate PSVR 2's launch and what the company's expectations for the hardware are going forward. He said, and this is a quote, "We are very happy to launch VR 2 on PS5. VR1, we sold over 5 million units, and I think we have a good chance to exceed that amount with the PlayStation VR 2. Lucy, do you think the VR 2 has any chance of selling 5 million units on PS5?
I mean, Totoki's not exactly going to say, I don't think it's going to sell that much, is he? Like, I don't really have a horse in the game when it comes to VR because I physically can't play it. I hope it. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm always hoping for kind of the success of pieces of hardware. I know there's a lot of people who love VR. Personally, for me, I think just from the outside looking in, and that is the big caveat, because like I said, I can't play it because it makes me incredibly motion sick. The launch lineup looked weak. To me, talking to my friends who've been playing a lot of PSVR 2, the thing that they say is the best experience they've had with it is Gran Turismo 7.
Everyone loves Gran Turismo 7 in that thing. A lot of people are like, I'm going to get a wheel. Oh man, all right. This thing's turning people into perverts. All right.
Everyone is obsessed with Gran Turismo. Like, Horizon didn't necessarily push the needle in any way. Did the Dark Pictures game come out?
No, that's coming out like in the next week or so, right? I could check the gamer browser. All you got to do is ask, Lucy. Jeez. Listen,
the gamer browser.
I think it's coming out next week.
Yeah, like the launch lineup wasn't necessarily doing it for me, but that's not the be all and end all. The be all and end all is the constant stream of support that we can hopefully expect from PlayStation over the next few months. So it kind of remains to be seen. I think the price point is still very much a sticking point. Like, especially when you look at other regions, Canada, Australia, where it's expensive as hell. It's expensive as hell in America and in the UK too. But I don't know. I hope it does, because I don't want to see hardware kind of go the way of, sadly, what's it called? The Microsoft. Not even just Kinect, because Kinect was exceptionally successful. I'm thinking of HoloLens.
Oh, HoloLens. Well, I was thinking of Kinect. I was thinking Kinect 2, right? Kinect 1.
Yeah.
Best-selling peripheral, very similar to PSVR. And then PSVR 2 is now kind of, could it do a Kinect 2? Probably not going to be that much of a crash and burn.
No. So I mean, like, I hope it does well. I hope the experience, I most of all hope that they fix issues with motion sickness. We should not be in 2023 and motion sickness is still an issue with a headset. Like, especially on a flagship launch like Horizon. Like, every single person I spoke to who played Horizon just said, ooh, like, that was their first reaction. Like, they couldn't last more than 5-10 minutes, and then they have to go through the game and just like tweak. Like, that should not be the barrier to entry. The price should also probably not be the barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Motion sickness is a skill issue. I take that back. Take that back.
I mean,
People I know who
developers will
never
say that.
experienced.
No, yeah, they don't mean that anymore. Yeah.
No, people who have never really get motion sickness got so badly sick playing Horizon Call of the Mountain that I don't even feel bad anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They're not going to say otherwise at this point, are they?
No, you know, there was obviously those reports from Bloomberg a couple weeks ago that they cut their shipment numbers. PlayStation responded to that by answering a different question and said, "We've not cut our production numbers," and they didn't say anything about the shipment numbers, which is what the story was actually about. You know, again, anecdotally from people at retail, I've heard that people are not showing up to buy these things in the countries where it's available at retail already. In droves. It is, they're selling one a day occasionally. And it's like, yeah, that sounds about right for a big expensive VR thing. That's what we should expect. But okay, let me lay out a scenario. We get that showcase before June from PlayStation, and there they announce that Half-Life Alyx is coming, and that, you know, they're gonna do a new version of that Astro game that was on PSVR 1 that everyone liked, and they're gonna do a sequel. And then there's one other big game that's like, no, this is a big new VR game, not an experience, a game. And then they go into the holiday and the maybe it gets cut, like a small little price cut, $50 or something. In that like best case scenario, that they probably do get to a point where it's like, if they can carry that momentum forward, they could sell more than 5 million, right?
Yeah, I think so. You just need the game to be there. Like, it's baffling to me the amount of faith Sony has put behind Horizon.
Yeah, I mean, overall, like, you mean just across the board, because it's getting an MMO as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and
I think
it's
even
getting
people who like Horizon don't want this much Horizon, right?
It's very, yeah, it's weird, and I wonder if they're kind of setting it up to fail in a little. No, and I hope that's not the case, but it is certainly overexposure in a very strange way. And I just say that like I didn't particularly like Horizon. I didn't love it, liked it, but it's very strange to see just how much faith they're putting behind it so quickly. You know. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they had they had Killzone, and then they're like, well, let's try something new, and then the Horizon hit. And they're like, all right, well, I mean, this is a hit. We should go all in on this. But I mean, part of that just feels like that's the way the Sony machine works these days. Is anything that sort of sniffs at a high level of success, you have to go all in on it to make the entire organization make sense. Because these are big, expensive games, and yeah, they make some money. But in order to make the stuff really make sense, they need to be hitting in 3 different genres of games, and they need a show. And there needs to be the potential for a movie, and it's the thing we need to sell our VR headset with. Yeah, so it's I don't know. It almost feels like a part of Sony's strength is a little bit of its weakness, where it's like, hey, we have these big games that can hit, and they are big and expensive, but because they're so expensive, we are forcing them to fit in all these little other molds that don't make sense for them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Take-Two cuts jobs at private division. This comes from Brendan Sinclair at GamesIndustry.biz. Take-Two is laying off some employees at its private division label and across other divisions of the company. This is according to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier in a report today. A company spokesperson confirmed the news for GamesIndustry.biz, saying, "We can confirm that there have been targeted reductions in our U.S. teams, primarily in corporate operations and label publishing, which will better align our organization with our long-term priorities. We continue to make strategic investments in our talent and technology to deliver our long-term pipeline, and the impact of these changes on our U.S. development teams has been minimal." This is something I think very similar to previous Take-Two like company layoffs from the last couple of weeks, where they're like, yeah, we are reducing our overhead, but we're not touching the development teams. And this is kind of like what these companies have to do, because they need to be making as many games as possible. And that means, well, we can't cut staff from these teams, but still, it's like it's a very profitable publisher. This is just them making cuts because they feel like they have to, right?
Oh, this is the whole conversation around layoffs right now, where it's just people see other people doing it, and that's why they do it. It doesn't necessarily improve the health or growth of a business in any way. It is more of a psychological effect. At least that's the conversation that I've kind of been reading about. Corporate America layoff stuff is way more, well, first of all, it's terrifying, but like in the UK, at least through my experience, it doesn't necessarily always hit to this degree. I mean, I guess I don't really remember what the corporate landscape was like in 2007 because I was at uni, or
it was fucked up.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
So. It was yeah, that was real bad. That was just a whole other thing though. But yeah. But when it comes to this stuff, I mean, they even say it themselves every time they start talking about these things. Like, this is a quote: Take-Two has experienced exponential growth in recent years, and we are taking these necessary steps
Maybe
to position the company
that when you're
for
fucking
another
laying
period
people
of
off.
success. So it's like, we just had exponential growth, and now we're going to have another period of success, so we have to lay people off. What are you talking about?
The thing that gets me is the line: we continue to make strategic investments in our talent and technology. So what was the wording you used to get these people on board? Was that you making a strategic investment in that talent and technology?
Right.
Or was that a different situation?
You're the drones that enable the talent. It's like, oh my God, that's also got to hurt morale. It takes a lot, it takes a village to get a video game made and published and all this stuff. And this line of demarcation between, the developers doing the real work and the people in the suits in the office, I think it's got to be something that is going to come back and bite these companies in the ass when they're like, look around like, hey, we need someone to help, like, on the publishing side, and no one wants to come work for these companies that aren't valuing those people in the same way.
Yeah. Layoffs fucking suck.
They also, we don't expect any kind of broad-based reduction in force. We are going department by department and trying to drive efficiency. So, sounds like they also aren't done.
Doing more with less, is it?
Weird. Yes, driving efficiency. Playdate price is rising by $20 on device store now, and it has an on-device store now live. Lucy, can I ask you, is rising the right word there? I always get like, I'm like, it should work. Playdate price rising by $20. We should just say increasing, right? Rising just sounds wrong to me.
Will be right. Will be. Oh, now you've put a.
Okay. Now I'm not trying to give other people my brain sickness. Increasing's got to be right.
Playdate price. Rising says.
Lurgen says rising is a good actual word, though. I disagree. It sounds passive to me. I don't like it. It sounds like something that happens to you.
Playdate price growing.
Jumping by $20. Yes, increasing.
Jumps up is a great action. I think.
This comes from James Batchelor at Games Industry.biz, and I apologize, everybody. This is just my brain.
This is just semantics.
Yeah, exactly. Playdate creator Panic has said it will be increasing the price of its handheld next month to account for increased manufacturing costs.
No. Read the word.
I'm live editing. He said it will be raising the price of its handheld. That works. It will be raising the price of its handheld next month to account for rising manufacturing costs. That totally works. That you could use that in that context for sure. In a post on its website, the company said that its manufacturing partner recently confirmed the cost of building a Playdate is going up. Panic will be adjusting the device's price due to its already tight margins. We don't take this lightly, the company wrote. We've always wanted a Playdate to be as affordable as possible. So, and this is no longer a quote, to soften the blow, the firm said it has kept the price increase to a modest $20, going from $179 to $199. And that it will retain the current price, that $179 price, for 1 month before rising on April 7th. Now there, I don't like it. So who knows? It's a crapshoot with me. Alongside the pricing news, Panic announced it has launched Catalog, a new marketplace for Playdate games that will be available both online and as an app on the device itself. This is the Playdate, everyone, the Crank system, little Crank handheld. It's cute.
Oh, that's the one it is. I don't have it.
Right, and it's what they did is they'll sell it to you for $179, and then you get 2 seasons, I think, of games, 12 and 12. That pop up on your system like once every 2 weeks or something like that. So it's got a lot of stuff that comes over time. But then it's like, well, then what do you do with it? Well, you can install games for free. A lot of times for free. Maybe you could buy them off of itch.io. There's like 450 games on there that you could just put on your Playdate and they'll just work. But now they're bringing their own store to the system as well. And that's pretty neat, right?
That is very cool. Yeah, Playdate kind of it went over my head, if I'm honest. Not over my head, but like it was like, oh, I'm all excited about a Steam Deck, you know.
Sure.
So I kind of just never really looked into it or kind of got one. Also, I'm still waiting for the Intellivision, the Amico. So I'm waiting for Tommy to. I'm waiting for Tommy to answer my emails. Because
He's
I pre-ordered
busy.
that. No.
He just got done making Metroid Prime Remastered. What do you want from the man? Jeez.
Oof. Am I right?
Oof.
No. Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to see the light of day. But yeah, it's understandable. It's obviously, the devs, Team Panic is not obviously going to be happy about the fact that they need to do that, but
right.
Needs must. Hopefully they have garnered and cultivated a community that is going to be okay with that, and I think they probably will. They probably have. Everyone I know who has a Playdate really likes it, so.
It is a cute, fun little toy. I dropped mine, and the crank stopped being accurate, which was a big bummer for me because my favorite game was the surfing game, which needed to be perfectly accurate because like if you point the crank up, then the surfboard sticks straight up, and it's like I would be pointing it up and it'd be going off to the side. I'm like, oh, this is not good, and then it would get worse over time. So it's like I just kind of put mine away, and I haven't touched it since. But like it's still a really cool thing. I still really like it. I also like the developers they were working with. They had like a Bennett Foddy game and stuff like that, and it's man,
very cool.
Anytime you want to give those kinds of people work, I approve, and I want more of it. So cool. And I think putting a store on it at this point to give it a new lease on life, that's a really good idea as well.
Smirt.
Wargroove 2 announced for Switch. This comes from Nintendo Everything. Chucklefish, in partnership with Robotality, has announced Wargroove 2, a sequel to its turn-based tactics game. A release window has not yet been shared, but it'll be on Switch and PC in the future. Wargroove builds on the 2019 game with new features. Also, another headline, Front Mission 2 Remake is coming to Switch. From the game's YouTube description, Front Mission 2 Remake is coming to Switch on June 12th. A classic tactical RPG returns. The second game in the main Front Mission storyline is finally available outside of Japan for the first time. Tactics games are still happening on Switch. I'm still playing Fire Emblem Engage. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is, listen, I love playing these games on my Switch, but getting even more. Did you ever play Wargroove?
No. Which one's Wargroove?
It was the one that had a more 2D pixelated art style, but it was trying to be like Advance Wars. And you could, one of the generals you could play as was a dog. And everyone really liked that.
Oh shit! Say less.
Yep.
Okay.
So I thought that might be the thing that would get you on board. It's very cool. Also, all of the generals, if they lose, they could die, except for the dog. Just goes to sleep.
Good.
Just goes to sleep. So
wow, they know what they're doing.
I wanted to like Wargroove more than I did. It was I think it wasn't quite as refined as I would have expected from like a Nintendo produced Advance Wars, and not like all the Advance Wars were like perfectly great hits, but they definitely had this refinement that Wargroove I think was missing. But I'm also like, I've seen that happen with other tactics games. Tiny Metal 1 was one that like was just sort of felt unrefined and slapped together, and then there was a follow up to that, Tiny Metal 2. Very good. I'm like, the same thing could happen with Wargroove 2. Front Mission 2 is a series I've never touched. Whenever I try to go back to these older tactics games, especially after Fire Emblem Engage now, I'm like, I think I'm just going to stick with Engage instead. So
that's fair.
New PS5 update adds Discord, VRR 1440p support, and more. This comes from Darren Bonthus at GameSpot. The big 7.0 update for PS5 has officially begun rolling out to users, with the headline features being Discord support. Originally tested in beta, Discord's integration into PS5 consoles will allow for voice chat across hardware platforms and share screen functionality. One of the other that's actually really cool. It's like we have now officially across the PC, Xbox, and PlayStation at least cross-platform voice chat. And everyone could just get in a party together, and it will just work. You don't have to have your phone sitting on your shoulder or whatever in your lap, being that weird person who sounds like they're down a well. You could just talk through your headset.
Maybe I am down a well. You don't know. You don't know where I game.
Right, but then you're not the weird person down the well. You're the normal person who just lives in a well. Like that's just totally fine. Like, listen, live in a big house and you sound like you're down a well. That's just weird. Other new features include the VRR support at 1440p resolution. That's a variable refresh rate. And I think they had it at 4K and probably at like 1080p, but now they have it at 1440p, which is a pretty popular resolution for monitors, something that Sony didn't support out of the box, although their TVs, I think, often can render at 1440p. So that was always pretty weird. They also have a join game icon in party chats and friends who play tile, things like that, improving the interface and thanks to that end to help people get into games with their friends even faster. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
this is like cool stuff hitting at a time when the PlayStation 5 is really hitting its stride, right? If you were just getting a PS5 now, well, it's easier to do that. And now the PS5 really feels like it's well baked at this point, right?
Yeah, I think so, especially with the addition of Discord. Like most of my friends have PS5, and we actually used to use the share gameplay thing quite a lot on PS5. Because I'd be playing. What was I playing? I was playing like Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and then my friend Simon was playing through Bloodborne for the first time. So we would just be in a party, and I would just be watching him in the corner and doing my own thing. So the fact that I can do that across Discord and stuff now too, that's neat.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like occasionally checking in one of my Discords and see someone just streaming a game to a couple of friends. Like sometimes there's like one, 2 or 3 people just sitting there watching them play. I'm like, that's nice. That's
just
cool
hanging out.
Can do. Just hanging out. All right. Sony Group has over $5 billion to spend on investments in 2023. This comes from Mohammed Ali Bari at Twisted Voxel. Sony Group Corporation has more than $5 billion to spend on strategic investments in the year 2023. During the 2023, hello kitty, the 2023 Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Entertainment Conference for the year for 2023, Sony Group Corporation's Chief Financial Officer Hiroki Totoki stated that the company has over $5 billion to spend on strategic investments before 2024. In response to a question regarding an update on the 2 trillion yen in Sony Group Corporation's investment budget, Totoki discussed that the company had spent nearly 1.3 trillion yen by the end of last year. He added that in 2023, Sony's looking to spend the remaining 700 billion yen on further strategic investments as planned. This amount roughly translates to a little over $5 billion. I think that's the money. Some of that money went towards buying Bungie, which was about $3 billion. And then they've obviously spent it on other things that aren't just games. But this is that's a pretty big war chest that they could drop at any point. But it's probably not enough for even acquiring like a Square Enix, right?
I was just about to say, who's getting bought now?
Right. Yeah. I mean, they could spend a lot of money on a lot of stuff, but it's like a lot of those bigger publishers are probably out of the question.
Yeah, I would say UB is out of the question just because of the weird kind of waters that Ubisoft is finding itself in at the moment. People are still kind of gunning for that Square acquisition. It'll be very interesting to see if anything about that, but.
I mean, Square definitely continues to feel like they're slimming themselves down, right? I mean, after selling off their U.S. studios, their big major U.S. studios in a fire sale, like they were just trying to get rid of it immediately because they thought something was going to happen sooner. And then they've taken Luminous Productions and folded them into Square Enix proper. So it's like, okay, now that's even more streamlined. They have a new CEO, a new president coming in pretty soon. It's like, well, what's that going to do for them? It does still seem like they are trying to make sure that they are well positioned in case a buyer comes along.
Yeah.
All right. This is a report. Lego, Disney, and Guardians of the Galaxy projects among multiple cancellations at Traveler's Tales Games, TT Games. Do they just drop the Traveler's Tales stuff, or do they go?
Yeah, they haven't used Travelers in a long time.
From TT Games. So this comes from Ollie Reynolds and Jack Yarwood at Nintendo Life. In April 2022, TT Games and Warner Brothers Interactive launched the highly anticipated Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. The game has been a sales success, selling 3.2 million copies in less than 2 weeks after its launch, which must have come as a relief to TT Studio management, considering the project's troubled development. Let's see. So they said they spoke to multiple sources confirming the cancellations of various projects at the studio, featuring high-profile IP, including a Lego Disney title that was terminated just last year. Known internally as Project Marley, the Lego game is said to have featured multiple worlds and Disney characters, including Jungle Book, A Nightmare Before Christmas, Pirates of the Caribbean, Maleficent, Muppets, Frozen, Toy Story, Winnie the Pooh, and more.
So they were making Kingdom Hearts.
They're making Kingdom Hearts, but what if it was good?
Hey,
Muppets. Well, I said what I
Okay,
said.
Muppets fair. Muppets fair.
Yeah, give me those Muppets. Man, that stinks. That's like something that I think I would have really enjoyed my kids. The player's overarching goal was to rid each world of an evil purple force corrupting the environment. If that sounds familiar, that's because a similar feature also showed up in Game Loft's Disney Dreamlight Valley, which launched in paid early access form on multiple platforms back in September. We're told that the TT team was struggling with the direction of its Lego Disney project, and ultimately that Dreamlight Valley was proved to be the final nail in the coffin. It was canned after at least 4 years of development. While that is the largest of the canceled projects, according to one of our sources, several others, all of which were being built with Unreal Engine, have fallen by the wayside at TT Games, including Project Cosmic, a Lego game based on Guardians of the Galaxy, Project Rainbow Road, a non-Lego shooter featuring Warner Brothers IP, including, DC, Rick and Morty, Looney Tunes, Stranger Things, which reportedly started life as a Funko project at TT Games before developer 1010 was set up and took the Funko license. That one sounds like a nightmare.
A Funko project. No, I mean, all of the TT, like all of the people that I used to know at TT Games, like Arthur Parsons, who was like game director on so many, like they all left to go to 1010. Like, yes. I don't even know anyone at TT Games anymore. Like that studio is just, yeah,
that's
very strange.
Right, and I mean, obviously it seems like they were contracting things out to 1010. I wonder what 1010's working on now. There was also a mobile. I think
still the Funko thing.
Still the Funko,
isn't it? I think so.
Oh, you're right. 1010 is the one that took on the Funko thing. That's Funko. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like they were like probably just had those relationships and carried them over. Yes. Okay. Yeah. A mobile port of Lego Worlds was known internally as Project Lego X, and that was originally in development by Playdemic. But this was moved over to TT Games when the former was acquired by EA, and that's also been canceled. Additionally, the same sources detail a narrative-based Mandalorian DLC in development for Lego Skywalker Saga that is also said to be in jeopardy, along with another new title based on DC's Batman that has apparently been put to one side. Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga is a massive success. It's huge.
It's huge. Yeah.
You got to think like, okay, does that give you the, if you're TT management and you're looking at that, does that give you hope that, all right, now we got to like double down and start making a lot of these games again? Or does it scare you and think, man, there's no way we can replicate that success again?
God, honestly, I have no idea at this point. Because who owns TT? Because I know Warner Brothers publish a lot of their games. Do they own outright?
I think I was operating under the impression that Warner Brothers owned TT Games. I think they do.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's very weird to see. Not like the fall from grace, but just like the output that TT used to have. You know, you'd get 1 or 2 big Lego games a year. They would sell. They would all be based on properties. Like I know Lego Dimensions was maybe the first full knock, I guess. But it's very weird to see, and it's also, you know, kind of a sign of the times, right? Where we're at this point of franchises are not enough anymore, and when you see cancellations on games that 5 years ago would have been a shoo-in for success, like a Disney game to that extent, like Marvel properties, Warner Brothers properties, including Rick and Morty, which despite everything going on is still incredibly successful. You got to wonder what's going on under the hood, if everything is getting canceled this way. It's very strange and sad.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, it does sound like, and they point this out in the article, a lot like what happened with to Telltale. Man, the TT was going to throw me off there. I'm like, that's what I'm about to say. The same studio. No, TT and Telltale
the other one.
The other one. You know, that was successful, had you know, breakout hits, and then they took on 1 million licenses, and then they got bogged down with their technology, something that has also been a problem here. I know we mentioned Unreal Engine. That's something they've moved on from their, I think they're an NTT engine that they were working with before. Skywalker Saga was Unreal. That's clearly been their future, but it also feels like not enough to make everything make sense for them. And also, it's probably just been hard to keep and maintain talent. That there was definitely reports of Traveler's Tale of TT having some crunch issues, and Skywalker Saga took a really long time and was especially egregious with this stuff. And it's like, man, if you are working at the studio, it's probably not like the highest paying developer job in the industry. And you can take your
there's
experience.
one
Yeah.
there's one in the north of England, so like American dev jobs, London, Guildford dev jobs, like north of England dev jobs, like they're not going to be making a ton of money compared to other places in the industry, and they could be.
Right. I mean, Bungie is a worldwide remote company now. Go get a job at Bungie instead. You ship Skywalker Saga. They'll listen to your resume. They'll listen to you, and it's like, okay. They have probably struggled to maintain talent. When you already talked about like 1010 being an issue there. So yeah, I mean, listen, if Skywalker Saga is somehow this capper on a long run of Lego games, it's a pretty good sort of thing to go out on. I clearly, though, as a company, they don't want to be going out on it. They want to build on that success. It's just very difficult to see how they do that in a way that can ever be that successful again.
Yeah. Times they are changing, as Bob Dylan would say.
As our boy Bob would say, times they are changing. All right. I think I have the poll from yesterday, or from Monday, excuse me. Let me bring that up here. No, it's going to be completely black. We fixed that in a second. There we go. Okay. Which do you want more, Detective Pikachu 2 or a different take on a live action Pokemon movie? I think most people want both. But if you had to get one of these next, what would you want? And 36.5% said Detective Pikachu 2, and then 63.5% said a different live-action Pokemon movie. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I want the adventures of Snorlax because that is the only Pokemon that I can really relate with.
Yeah, that's my boy. Yeah, he knows he knows how to live a life.
I don't have it here. I have like Andrew, my friend Goldfarb, went to Japan and went to the Pokemon Cafe, and he got me like a little dish, but it's Snorlax, and so the dish part is his belly, and then it's got like feet and stuff. And I don't even like Pokemon, but that's my favorite fucking dish.
I like any animal that eats off its tummy, which is why otters are very, very just they know what's going on. They're just sitting there swimming around on their backs, just putting food up here and going nom nom nom. That's a smart animal. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's incredibly dirty and filthy, but I like it. No,
it's very cute. Abs says, make my gritty, far-fetched anime. No, make the gritty Cubone anime. That's what we should...
Explain where the skull comes from?
Yeah.
I think it does come from its mom, right? Isn't that like...
Yeah.
Wasn't that just in the description?
We should get it in a gritty anime.
Just ripping the flesh off and getting the skull out.
Yeah.
Listen, it's messed up, but I like it, Lucy.
It's fucked up. It's like Berserk. Cubone.
Let's see. I have a new poll question I'm going to put up, but in the meantime, Lucy, why don't you tell people what's going on this week, what you got going on, all stuff like that.
So we recorded Jeff's Bizarre Adventure on Monday. That should be going out today. Yeah, today's Wednesday. I'm going to IKEA tonight. That's the big thing.
That's very exciting.
We've got Grubbalax Punch Out, Game Mess Mornings Tomorrow, Blight Club, Voicemail Dump Truck, UPF, and another GMM. Game Mess Mornings.
Yep.
Then what am I doing? Oh, I'm working on like, I haven't been around much recently because I'm doing all this stuff for like the GameSpot slate. Like, people don't actually know what my job is at GameSpot. So my job is I'm in charge of original programming. So I'm in the middle of setting up all the programming for the year, which is a lot to do, it turns out.
Here's when I realized what your job was. It's like, it's like, oh, we got a meeting here, and this is a few weeks ago. We got a meeting, all right, to talk about like video stuff across all our platforms, and then we go in the meeting, and you're leading it. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it. She's very busy. Like she's in charge of all this. So I put two and two together then. But
once stuff's in production, it's fine. But it's all the pre-pro planning stage that I'm in right now, and it means I'm spending a lot of time in spreadsheets and Asana, baby.
Yeah, well, listen, that sounds like a party right there. Spreadsheets and Asana.
I'm having a great time, honestly.
Sounds like a Post Malone album. Spreadsheets and Asana. Maybe not. New poll. Will PSVR 2 outsell PSVR 1? That poll is live now. You can vote on it. I want to hear what you're going to think about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. What else we have going on? Blight Club, obviously. We're in the midst of planning a little trip. We're going to be me and Dan and our buddy Jan, once he's up and at 'em. Gonna be heading out to the West Coast. Jan will be joining
Jan's
Jan.
already here.
We'll be joining Jan out there. So we're like planning some stuff. Little teaser. DreamHack might be there. So if anyone's planning to go to DreamHack, look out for that. But yeah, that'll be fun. We're gonna be doing some panels there, things like that. And then the Super Nintendo World. I'm going to Super Nintendo World. I'm very excited, Lucy. I know you. Have you? Did you go? I can't remember if you.
No,
okay.
I went. I went to Universal in December, just after the Game Awards, because Gerard, the completionist, who obviously I do Friends Per Second with,
right.
He got us as a Christmas present VIP tour tickets to
awesome.
Universal, which was sick. And
That's
so
awesome.
they gave us like a little peek. There's a point in the park where you can look over and you can see Nintendo World. And so we did kind of, there were a couple of stalls open. So those, like the food and stuff stalls, and the merch stuff was open. So we definitely ransacked that. But I think we're going to go around E3.
Ooh. Oh, that's exciting.
So I'm very excited for you, because Tam got to go and he said it was amazing.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. My wife and kids are making me feel pretty guilty about it, and that's just making it even better to go, because I'm a bad guy.
Yeah, that just makes it more delicious, to be honest.
Yeah, mine. It's all mine. Give it to me. No, I'm like, man, one day I'll take you all there. I was gonna take them to
you better
Florida
come
one.
back with.
Oh yes.
You better come back with the gifts.
Oh yes,
for sure.
Every Kirby thing I see will be there, and then Britain.
Oh, I don't know if there is Kirby.
They probably have Kirby merch in the store, right?
I don't think they do. I think it's all Mario.
Wow.
From what I remember, I'm sorry to burst that bubble, but there is a really
failing on their part.
There's a really funny like puppets you can get. That was me puppeting. That was me good. Yeah. There was some really fun puppets. There was some really good clothes and bags and stuff, which are very cute. But you know what?
Yeah, I'll get some.
Now that I've got this little soapbox, they have a mummy ride. The mummy ride is, for my money, the Transformers ride is the best one. The mummy ride is the second best ride at Universal. The Mummy 1999 and The Mummy Returns, two of the best movies ever made.
Of course.
The only mummy merch, and we went to every single store in Universal, is you get a hat that says Revenge of the Mummy. That's it. There's nothing. No, because it's a hat for the ride. It's not a hat with my boy Brendan on it. It's not a hat with my girl Evie on it. Like, come on.
God,
we're better than this. We're in the Renaissance.
Man.
Or give me something with Oded Fair on. Come on, like, you're missing out on thousands of my dollars.
I noticed that you haven't mentioned the Waterworld stunt show. Did you see that?
That was pretty great, actually. Yeah, we did go see that.
I'm so glad you guys saw that. All right.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm like very excited to go with Jan and Dan to see. Because I love the Indiana Jones one, and everyone's like, no, the Waterworld one is so much better. I'm like, it is? Okay.
No, Waterworld was sick. I really enjoyed it. Also, The Mummy is a very funny ride, because all of the rides are very funny because you think they're going to be, quite long. No, The Mummy's maybe 30 seconds max.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
very cool.
so short. Cool. The longest one I would say is probably like Transformers is pretty long, and so is.
I did the Transformers one in Singapore at Universal Singapore when I went there for work, and that was like that was pretty long. Cool. It's a good dark ride, super dark ride, I believe they're called by those who would know, and I still don't fully understand what they mean by that.
Watch some Defunct Land, that he'll tell you.
They'll learn me. All right, that sounds good. I'm excited. We're gonna make it happen.
It's gonna be great.
Got my travel confirmed, so now I feel like it's real. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to the rest of the week here on Giant Bomb. We're gonna do our best with folks out on assignment and all that. So look out for all that stuff. Grubberlang today. We'll be back here probably around 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Everybody, like I said, a couple of meetings. Okay, Lucy, thank you so much for spending today talking with me about video games. I really appreciate it.
Happy Starfield Announce Day, everyone.
Yeah, happy Starfield Announce Day. And everybody, thank you for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.